Hi, everybody. I'm Kirk Koennecke, the CEO Superintendent of Indian Hill, and we're here with another EduHERO Podcast. And today, I've got some amazing 7th grade guests with me, Rory Thornton, Zoe Lee. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thanks for being here. So, Zoe, I know that you love golf, and we've been trying to kind of build up this middle school golf program for some time, and it's wonderful to see girls playing golf more and more. How did you get involved?
So I started playing over this summer in Korea, and then when I got back, I decided to join the team, and I met a few friends in there. I think it's a really good experience overall.
What is it about golf that you find so attractive as a sport? Like when you're out there, right, most people, you're doing this kind of on your own, but you can play with friends and colleagues. What's your interest? Like, why golf?
I think it's easier to focus on one thing at a time there, and it's like you can play alone, but then you can play with some other people too. So yeah.
That's great, and you get out there, and every time it's different, right?
Yes.
Every time it's a new experience, even if you hit the ball the same?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there a favorite course you have in the Cincinnati area that you've come to like?
I like the par 3s in the Little Miami area.
Yeah, that's a great place to learn, right, and hone your skills and work on your chipping, and yeah, cool. And Rory, I see you all around campus, and you've been doing lots of things, but one of the things you've been involved with this year is the new Student Ambassador Program. So why did you get involved as a student ambassador?
I just thought it was cool because, like, you just connect with everyone and you lead throughout the school and stuff.
And what does leadership mean to you? Like, there's adults that are going to listen to this podcast and are like, what? You know, tell me what a middle school student cares about leadership and why.
Because everyone looks up to you and it just makes you feel good because you're just leading.
Do you think you learn those leadership skills or you're born with them?
I learned throughout my brothers who came here, so I just looked up to them.
Yeah, and picking those things up along the way and then hopefully helping others, that is cool, right?
Yeah.
So what was your favorite ambassador experience so far?
I like the introductions, showing like throughout the primary, elementary, middle school, and high school. I like that a lot.
So as people came onto campus, you had an opportunity to kind of educate them about what's going on around them?
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to hear from a student because you're the expert, right? You understand what school's like and where people need to go and how it all works. Many adults, when they leave school and graduate, they don't come back unless they have an opportunity like that. So to learn from an expert is pretty neat. Zoe, as you have gone through your career here at Indian Hill, now in the middle school, there's been a lot of changes, right? New buildings, facilities, all these things that have happened. But what is it that stands out to you that makes Indian Hill Middle School unique?
I think it's like all the experiences you can have, like the after-school clubs and your ability to make some. Like you can really put your creativity and your thoughts into the programs here, I think.
What are some of the after-school clubs that you've been engaged with or that you find interesting?
So currently I'm doing Future City, which is where it's like a competition club where you try to create a city based on a theme they give you that's like 100 years into the future. And
what's some of the learning that happens in a Future City club? I mean, is it just you and your friends are sitting around playing with Legos? What is it that person needs to know that doesn't know what it's about?
It's like you research a lot about how you figure out how an actual city is going to work, like all the energy sources and how you're going to get power, more like where you are. Currently, it's like a floating city, so you have to figure out how you're going to get the city to float. Yeah, there's a lot of like researching involved with it too.
So there's some science and some research involved, and then of course you're going to figure out where people are going to live and learn and eat and all those good things. Yeah, I think that can be such a powerful experience to start to think about the careers necessary to plan city living and government and all those layers. And then how much time do you put into an activity like that after school?
It's at least an hour, I think.
Okay.
We can stay an hour after school.
And you said it's a competition, so it kind of culminates with some opportunity to present?
Yes.
And you have to practice that?
Yes.
And how many people do you work with on your team?
I think there's 5 or 6 people.
Okay. So you got to have to learn to collaborate with others. I think that's great. Rory, those kinds of experiences, I think there are a lot we offer. I think there's like over 80 different clubs and activities that Indian Hill offers at the secondary level, some now at the elementary level. What are some of the activities that you like to be involved in?
I play football, basketball, and baseball.
Sports guy.
Yeah.
That's taken up how much time for you on the daily after school?
We have practice every day of the week. Thursday we have games.
Okay, so you're practicing every day of the week for at least an hour?
Yeah, for an hour and a half.
Okay. I think a lot of times people talk about middle school students or middle school and they overgeneralize, right? They say, oh, middle school, that's kind of a wonky time. It's kind of kids are figuring themselves out and, you know, it's a unique space in a school district. But you guys have really busy, robust schedules. How do you manage your time and your schedules with everything that you're doing, Zoe?
I usually, obviously I have to make a schedule of my own, but I like to think about what I already do and whatever I don't need to do. And yeah.
When it comes to like homework, I think, you know, parents are always worried about achievement and are our kids getting enough time and are they doing what they need to do to meet those high expectations in a community like Indian Hill for school and academics. How do you structure that so that you stay on top of all your studies, and how much time do you spend doing the homework thing?
So for the homework, I usually start it as soon as I get home so I can finish it and not forget about it. It really depends on the homework, but say 30 minutes or 45-ish.
So that's about an average daily, couple hours a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different obviously than
Yes.
your elementary experience. How about you, Rory? You're playing sports and the practices are usually right after school, right? So then you gotta eat, you gotta clean up, but how do you go about that?
I'm pretty fine with it because I do most of it like with extra time at school. But just like her, I mean, after I get home, do it and then eat, take a shower, all that stuff.
And then what's the typical middle school student, 7th grade, doing for fun on the weekends when you're not at the club activity after school, you're not playing football? What are you doing for fun?
I go to the high school games on Fridays, football games, and then I just hang out with friends on the weekends.
Okay, try to take some downtime with friends on the weekend. How about you, Zoe?
On Sundays, I have a cello rehearsal for an orchestra, CJS, but I usually just stay home. I like to stay home
Yeah, get a little downtime.
and read, yeah.
Read? Okay, great. And when you're choosing your reading selections, right, like obviously you got a brand new library at the middle school, it's kind of neat, but also you're working with your teachers probably on lots of different books in 7th grade. Is there a particular genre that you're in love with or that you're looking at now when you're reading for pleasure versus what you're doing for class?
I kind of like all genres, but I like to read mysteries or fantasies.
Okay, great. And when you are taking that time, do you find that you're doing that outside of school?
Yeah, if I have the time.
Yeah, usually on the weekend. Tell people about what you meant when you were talking about the Sunday cello and what you're doing outside of school with your instrument.
So we go to the Loveland High School, and there's a bunch of other people who play the violin, viola, and some bassists. It's like an orchestra outside of school, and the rehearsals are for 2 hours, and you play songs that they give you.
What's the title of the organization?
CJS, or Cincinnati Junior Strings.
Right, Cincinnati Junior Strings. And so for people who are really interested in their instruments outside of the daily school schedule here, they can get involved with groups like this or a youth orchestra, and you can really practice and then collaborate with people from around the region, right?
Yes, definitely.
So you've met some new friends from around the region?
Mhm.
Good. And how many years have you been doing that?
So I got into the orchestra this year, but I've been doing cello lessons for almost 4 years now.
Almost 4 years. Great. And our demand here at Indian Hill for orchestra has really grown to the point now where we've hired a second teacher, and so orchestra is thriving. What have you learned from being involved in these music programs that keeps you so engaged? And is there something you would point to that you're doing in orchestra over the last couple of years that you just think has been a positive experience for you?
I think you really learn how to collaborate with other people and communicate with, especially the instructor, as she can show you.
Miss Emmons?
Yes, Miss Emmons. She shows us different tips Or
When you say shows you, what do you mean?
well, she gets her violin and like demonstrates how to play.
So she
certain
can play
things.
with you.
Yes, definitely. She plays all the instruments.
She's an expert.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you have a new orchestra teacher, and have you been able to interact with him at all?
Oh yeah, his name's Mr. Bowden.
Yeah,
He
and what's
usually-
Mr. Bowden bring to the table for you that's new?
He helps Miss Emmons with the instructing, and he does like little groups outside of the orchestra. He pulls a few people and helps them with certain skills.
Yeah, some sectional, some
Yes.
group practice, and yeah, and then you guys are getting ready for concert season coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing some challenging pieces?
Yeah, I think so. We're playing the Addams Family with the whole orchestra, including the high school, I think.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to
Yes,
hear
some more
that.
Halloween-related songs.
And some of the songs that you're going to play and that you work on, you're also taking to competitions.
I think so. I have some songs outside of the school orchestra, but yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
So the Ohio Music Education Association, they put on these annual things where depending on what level you're at or what group you're in, you might go and have to play for scores or get judged. Yeah, and that ups the pressure on presentation a little bit. Yeah. So Rory, presentation for you is game day, right? What is it that you're taking away from your coaches as leaders about how to prepare for game day and practice so that it's not that big a deal? You're just ready.
I study the playbook before games a lot because that really helps throughout the games, because if I don't know what to do, then you're just standing there confused.
So learning the play is important.
Yeah.
And you're talking kind of about football specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, and then in basketball season's going to be coming up here as we transition, right? And football's had a great year, by the way, but as you're getting into basketball season, what is it about practice versus the games in basketball that you really got to pay attention to?
Just running the plays and like knowing what you're gonna do throughout the game is really important, because I mean you're just gonna be confused throughout the game.
Sometimes people are like, why do you have so many coaches, right, at the high school and middle school level? And then Coach Hill comes in and he gets hired as a program director, and then hopefully all the coaches are kind of using similar language and plays. Do you notice that and feel that as an athlete as you're moving through your grade levels?
Yeah, because every coach knows a different position, so they help out for that position.
And do you get to know the coaches across the teams, or are you just working with one coach?
Yeah, so you get to know the coaches throughout teams. Like in football, you practice with the 8th grade also, so you work with every coach.
Well, that's good, right? Then you get experience with more adults who have different personalities, and I think part of your schedules, even in school now at middle school, right, is a lot different than elementary in that you've gone from working with maybe 2 or 3 or 4 teachers to having to work with 7 or 8 or 10 people on a daily basis. Zoe, when you think about like who's had a positive impact on you at the Indian Hill Schools so far as a teacher, like is there 1 or 2 who you would say, boy, they really made me think, or they really influenced me?
Probably Miss Emmons, my orchestra teacher, or Miss Cook, because Miss Emmons, she helped me really improve my cello skills and set me up with some harder pieces. And Miss Cook, she definitely helped me improve my ELA since it's not my strongest skill. And yeah, she set me up with Power of the Pen, which is another school club that you can join.
Yeah, and Miss Cook, obviously one of our veteran language arts teachers, but Power of the Pen, tell people what that is about.
It's a creative writing club. It's also competitive sometime in May and January.
So you're reading and then you're also writing.
Yes, mostly writing. So
Yeah.
they give you a prompt and you have a certain amount of time to write a creative piece to the prompt.
Yeah, and so you get to do that with your friends in and outside of class, and then you're also doing competitions with Power of the Pen also.
Yes.
And Power of the Pen competitions take you all over the region and the state?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of exciting, I think. Two good ones. Rory, when you think about school and you think back, who's had that big impact on you if you had to pick someone?
Miss Tice in 2nd grade.
Yeah, why?
I had a lot of memories with her because she always used to interact with me, and she knew a lot about sports and what was happening, and just connected with me.
That's great. And so you have fond memories of that all the way back to primary school.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Okay, let's talk about something fun. So you're done with practice, you're done with cello on Sunday. It's time. Mom and Dad are making sure you get your favorite go-to meal. What is it here in Cincinnati that you love, Zoe, that's your go-to?
My mom usually makes meals, but my favorite from her, it's a Korean meal. It's like curry and chicken, like fried chicken, basically. Yeah, I really like that.
Curried fried chicken sounds excellent to me, too. Your mom a good cook?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I love that. What about you, Rory?
My dad loves to cook, so he makes a variety of stuff, but I like his chicken and rice the most.
Oh, so similar. Okay, but you guys are the first two people that I've ever had on the podcast from the middle school that somebody did not talk about graders or Skyline. So kudos to you for eating home-cooked meals with your family, your parents. That makes me so proud. And then, again, I think a lot of people have a school experience and they remember what high school or middle school was like for them. And then they don't really maybe always know what the modern student is up to. So what's the most challenging piece of academic work you've had to tackle so far this year in 7th grade? If you had to pick something that you said, it wasn't easy, it was challenging, but I did it. Can you give us an example, Zoe?
Probably some of the writing prompts. I think you focus more on getting paragraphs done in a more accurate way in a certain amount of time. I think that was a bit trickier for me, but yeah, I managed to finish them.
Really learning to flesh out not just a paragraph, but an essay response and how you're going to approach that things with different prompts. Okay, that's high level thinking, right? Takes a lot, and then you said there's some time pressure sometimes. Wow. Okay, Rory, what about you?
Same thing about paragraphs, because you always have to make sure you have everything, like punctuation, claim, and all this stuff, and make sure everything's right.
Structure, all the syntax, all the grammar. Got to know how to open it and close it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're building your muscle academically for things you're going to use the rest of your life, right? One day it'll be college essays, and one day it'll be some major report that you're going to do next semester or whatever. How about, what's the most fun thing you've done so far in middle school? Not just this year, but when you think about your middle school experience, what's something you got to do that was fun that most people might not know about?
Well, I like to do a lot of hands-on experiments. And in middle school, I feel like you have a variety of choices for your projects. So you can either draw something or you can make something. Especially in ELA, you can, definitely.
So project-based things where you're getting some choice, and in your different courses, you're getting to do some things that are hands-on. You've liked that. Yeah, I like hearing that for sure. And it's one of those times where you get into middle school, right, where you start to have a little more course choice, a little more menu in that master schedule, for sure. Rory, what about you? What's been fun?
My favorite was probably in ELA. We had our Choose Your Own Adventure book, where you write some paragraphs and then you give options to the readers if they want to go that way or the other way.
Yeah, those are fun. And getting the outcome maybe that you don't always expect, or you get to learn from that a little bit. Okay, those were great academic answers, and I love it. How about outside of class? What's been the most fun thing about being a middle school student in Indian Hill? Got an example? Is it going to the game on Friday? What is it?
I just like hanging out with my friends at the game and just learning from the high schoolers.
Close friendships?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Zoe, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I like the clubs a lot too. I get to meet my friends and do something we all like together.
Okay, and the clubs that you mentioned before, of course, a lot of them meet after school. There's some things that happen on weekends and maybe some travel involved now, which is a little bit different. Well, I've learned a lot from the two of you. Let me ask this. You're going to be in high school soon, right? You're not in a race to get there. But what is it you're looking forward to that you think you know about our high school? Rory, is there something you're looking forward to?
It's a big transition from middle school sports to high school sports because it's a lot more competition, state and national. So I'm really looking forward to that.
The competition level.
Yeah.
You're going to be ready for it? Okay, good. I know you will be. Zoe, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I've heard about a lot of different course choices. I'm excited about that, and the girls golf team.
Okay, yeah, you're going to help build that program back up and get it to the strength we need, right? And stick with that because it's a great lifelong sport that you can play beyond school, right? And something you can do for fun the rest of your life. So I try to tell people all the time, things like golf, running, right? Those are things you can carry with you no matter where you are. But I hope to see you out there wearing your brave colors again. And thank you two for joining me on the EduHERO podcast today.
Thank you.